I wonder what's on the tube.
Welcome back.
Thank you for being a friend.
What you talking about, Willis?
You are a meathead.
Nothing for you.
Don't touch that dial, adjust those bunny ears, because what time is it, Jay?
It's time for Drama D's Nuts. I mean, Sitcom My Face, baby. I'm Jay, that's Nick. And what the hell are we talking about this episode, sir?
Well, this week we're going a little different. We'll say it is a comedy, but it is also a drama. This is actually a dramedy.
This is a show that you chose, and actually a show that I've always meant to check out because I've heard great things.
Same here. And I always heard the buzz. It's a cult classic. But what show are we talking about, Jay?
A show that probably defines us pretty well. Freaks and Geeks.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Which one would you qualify yourself as?
I'll probably be the geek.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of both.
Yeah, I guess I think we're both a little of both. They call, if you want to say the burnout crew, the freaks, and the geeks would be Sam and his crew. The freshmen, and also people like Millie and truthfully, actually, one of our lead characters, Lindsay, would probably be a geek that became a freak.
What network did this originally run on?
And this is another interesting one. This ran on NBC. And
really? Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was an ABC show for whatever reason, but this ran on NBC between 99 and 2000.
18 episodes.
18 episodes, of which only 12 of them aired, originally.
Really?
The network kind of screwed it up by shifting the schedule around a lot. They were up against, a lot of times back in those days, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, when it was on pretty much almost every night.
Yeah, that was a huge ratings juggernaut, too.
Yep. And then you also had, the 2000 election it was going up against, and everything going on with that. It really didn't get a chance, and NBC didn't do it any favors. Apparently, here's a funny one. NBC, first of all, they switched, I think, CEOs at the time. The person that had first greenlighted it wasn't the person that, when it was running.
Oh, so its cheerleader was gone.
Yes, the cheerleader was gone.
That happens a lot. New network head will come in and go, I don't like this fucking... Or they have a beef with some person on the show.
Right.
Maybe a creator or producer. There you go. Oh.
But here's one of the most bizarre things. NBC, they created a website for Freaks and Geeks, but they never would share the URL on the show,
in the
pasting
credits
at the bottom, because it was, earlier on when, things were kind of really rolling, and they didn't want the internet to interfere with NBC programming. So they made a website for it, but wouldn't tell you how to get there.
They should have done what Conan used to do. He found out one time that any website he said on air, NBC had to buy it for legal reasons, because if it was like a porn site or something and he said it on the show, people might sue NBC.
Oh my God.
So yeah, they should have just fucking put a bunch of websites on there.
I love Conan. Yeah,
that's when Conan made he made some joke about a manatee porn site or something, and then
I remember that one.
Yeah, and then NBC had to buy the website, so he's like, well, we might as well do something with it. And they kept putting up dirty manatee porn.
Oh God,
there are ways around it, I guess. Well, this was in '99 too. Websites. This would have been around when I remember Blair Witch around this time had that huge. It was one of the first big online marketing campaigns for a movie and stuff. And they had a big website And I think that was 99, right?
Yeah, no, that was 99 as well. Yeah, I remember that well. Like, basically, kind of gearing you up to see the movie, like a little history on the Blair Witch. And
trying to convince you that it's real still.
Exactly. The whole found footage thing going on there. But yeah, it's a very strange story how this show was kind of tossed around, and and the network didn't do it any favors.
Well, look at all the talent and people that came out of this show. This was probably most of their introductions to us, right?
Yeah, a lot of them. This was their early, like, if you want to go to the main cast, we had Lindsay, played by Linda Cardellini. What do you know her from? My
first introduction to her, and I fell in love with her instantly, was Velma in the Scooby-Doo movies, the 2 live action.
There we go.
Yeah.
Also, she was on recently with one of your favorite actresses, Christina Applegate, the show Dead to Me.
I will finish that. Now that I know it's ending, I will finish it. I think I watched the first 3 or 4 episodes, and I was like, I'll get back to it, and I just haven't yet.
Yeah, no, it's a great show. I will say, it maybe doesn't stick the landing at the end, But,
well, didn't they end it abruptly
because
of Applegate's illness?
Yeah. I also know her. She was in what do you call it? The Marvel movies. She was Hawkeye's wife. And
yeah.
And also
barely. She wasn't in it much though, right?
No, she wasn't in it much.
Couple scenes.
Right. Couple of scenes in like 2-3 of the movies, and then also when they did the Hawkeye TV series on Disney Plus too.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah.
But that, and also, did you ever watch the animated show called Gravity Falls?
I've seen previews for it, but no, I've never seen it.
Great show. Also, you'd be surprised at the vocal cast, and she's one of the main cast members. Now, why don't we go on to my cousin James, James Franco.
Are you sure you still want to claim him?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, well, there's a lot of Francos out there. He's probably
might not be invited to Christmas.
Yeah. Well, yeah. James Franco plays Daniel Desario on the show. One of the Burnout crew, and I believe he's also the oldest of the Burnouts too, because apparently he's been left back twice.
I met his brother Dave once. He was nice.
Oh, cool. Who the hell created this show?
Well, I don't know much about the guy who created it, but his name was what? How'd you pronounce it?
Paul Feig. Again, it's spelled like it might be Feig, but I was looking at a pronunciation key and it said Feig, so I'll say it that way tonight.
Looking at his resume, I really don't know much of his other stuff.
Yeah, he's definitely done some movies. He did Bridesmaids, The Heat, Spy. He did the 2016.
As producer, though, right? He's only executive producer on like Bridesmaids, it looks like.
I believe so. He also directed a film, A Simple Favor. And
he did the female Ghostbusters and Snatched, which are 2 horrifically bad movies.
Yes, but especially in the realm of sitcoms, he directed episodes of the U.S. version of The Office, Arrested Development, Weeds, Nurse Jackie, 30 Rock, and Parks and Rec.
He directed those?
He directed.
Oh.
He also for this show, he received 2 nominations for Primetime Emmys. And 2 for producing and directing on The Office.
And then, of course, the executive producer here, your Judd Apatow, who has gone on to great success with a lot of these same guys.
Exactly. When it's an Apatow vehicle, you will find, put it this way, just spin the wheel and you'll get at least 2 or 3 of these actors, actresses.
I think my first introduction to him was the 40-Year-Old Virgin. Probably he did Knocked Up and all those stoner comedies. He was probably also involved with Pineapple Express.
I believe so. Let me just double check.
He did the one with, what was the one with Adam Sandler? Funny People.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
This is
yeah.
40.
Yeah, Superbad, Talladega Nights. What's your Anchorman 2?
Oh, right.
The Big Sick. Yeah, so yeah, he's been a part of a lot of great films and also TV as well, as we are now going to see. And were you a fan of Apatow before this, or?
No, I remember seeing ads for the show when it was coming out, but I didn't know who these people were at the time, and there was, I guess other things I was into at that point. I would have been, I guess, like 7th, 8th grade when this was on. Yeah,
you were about 13-ish, right? I think.
I was 14? Born in 86, so
yeah. So yeah, about 13.
Yeah, this was a show. This kind of reminded me of like a kind of like a more grounded Wonder Years, if I had to pick something.
I definitely was gonna go that way. And yeah, that reminded me somewhat of that structure, and again, being more the dramedy.
Yeah, once we finish the cast here, we'll go into kind of the qualifications maybe of a sitcom and talk a little bit about how this differs a little bit.
Okay, but why don't we go into one of the young guys? John Francis Daly played Sam Weir. Do you know?
He looked very familiar, but I couldn't think of what I knew him from.
Did you ever watch the show Bones?
Nope.
Okay, because he actually,
I know of it, but I've never seen it.
He played an FBI criminal profiler on that show. And he was very good on that show too.
I feel like I knew him from something as he was still a kid, but maybe a little older than this show.
Yeah, he's also done a lot of writing work. He was a writer or co-writer on The Incredible Burt Wonderstone, Horrible Bosses 2. Let's see. He actually co-wrote and co-directed the 5th film in the National Lampoon's vacation film series, Vacation. That was in 2015. He was
starred Christine Applegate.
There we go.
Ironic.
Also a co-writer on Spider-Man: Homecoming. What about Jason Segel?
Yeah, he creeped me out on this show. I like Jason Segel and other shit, but I don't think I liked him on this show.
Really? Okay. You see, he
kind of creeped me out a little bit.
I liked him on the show. If you want to say of the burnouts, I think he was the one that was. How do I want to say it? Like, he was the more accomplished of them until I guess he started hanging out with them. Because like they show in the one episode where it's like he's got all these awards for, like, he used to play basketball, he used to be on bowling, like all these other things that like activities he used to do.
Well, I think the main theme of this show is fitting in. It's like
Definitely.
They all are trying to change themselves in some way to fit in to what they think is cool.
Right.
And I think he as well, he thinks that he's cooler, with the stoners and
right. The one I was surprised also didn't get much till later, like, was actually Seth Rogen.
And actually, there was at least one or two, I think, that he wasn't even in that I watched.
Yeah. He wasn't in, I think, all 18 episodes.
Yeah, there was definitely one where it ended, and I was like, "Wait a minute, was Rogen even in that?" I don't think so. He really doesn't have a lot to do in this.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's just kind of there.
Early on, he's just really background. Yeah, maybe says a word or two. It wasn't until later on when, like, he started having the hots for the for Tuba Girl.
His
Amy.
part was strange too, because he's kind of like, he says the really like dumb, kind of like the Kelso in that 70s show dumb lines,
but also some of the more smart and sarcastic lines too, like very quick quips. But yeah, I don't think he necessarily comes off as dumb as, say, Nick, Jason Segel. Like, his character at times comes off as like, like, just dopey.
Rogan, I feel like, had the most sitcom adjacent lines in this, though, where it'd be like someone would be upset and they'd be having an argument and having like a real dramatic moment, and then it would cut to him and be like, that guy's mad about something. You know, he'd have some stupid line like that.
Yeah.
The most oblivious, I think, of the group.
And then let's go to a couple of the young ones. Sam Levine is Neil Schreiber.
My only other knowledge of him, I think, is from Not Another Teen Movie.
Okay. He
was one of the nerds in that.
Yeah, I think he plays nerd well.
Actually, there was another girl that showed up from Not Another Teen Movie. There's like a stuttering girl who's like, she has Tourette's. And she's,
okay.
So she's like trying to get on the cheerleading squad, and she's like, titty ass fuck cunt, you know, doing it on there. And she's in this too as another character, a little blonde girl.
Did you like that character, by the way, Neil? Like,
yeah, I mean, like he's kind of the same character from the other movie, but yeah, he's good.
Yeah, I think, like, to me, he was kind of like, in a way, like sort of the geeks, the young geeks. He was more sort of not to say the leader, but like he kind of tried to be the one in charge. Yeah, he dressed very much older than he was. Like, you know, he dressed really like an old man with the sweater vest type of thing, and
yeah.
And like he had more of an affinity for like things like Groucho and like some of the old humor.
Did he go as Groucho in the Halloween one?
I believe he. Wait, did he?
I can't.
Let's see.
Somebody
Sam
at some
robot.
point was dressed as Groucho at some point.
Yeah. It's got to be him. That's right. Yeah, because the other one of the young ones was where is his? Martin Starr was Bill Haverchuck, the tall
best character on the whole show.
Oh,
Bill is brilliant.
He's so understated, which is so great. But just to let you know, my wife was watching actually a Comic-Con panel where they had John Francis Daly and him. Apparently, in real life, he's drier than Bill.
Dude, watching the show, my first thought was, Bill is brilliant. This guy is fucking brilliant. He's another one. He looks familiar, but I don't really know what I know him from. I looked him up, and I think the one movie I really remembered him from was a Good Old Fashioned Orgy or something like that it's called. With like Lake Bell and...
Oh my God. Like some of his most episodes with. One is the show Party Down, which I've never watched.
He is legit one of the most sincere, grounded nerds I've ever seen on television.
Yes. I totally agree.
He's so perfectly mundane and not going for the joke that it makes it so much better. Actually, that's the one thing I'll give this show over everything is they don't care if they end a scene with a knee slapper joke.
No.
They everything don't. About this show is real. It feels real. I call this the slice of life type show.
Yeah, it's slice of life, and a lot of times it's subtle comedy where it's like you sometimes have to do a double take. What's like, wait, what did he like? Especially like with Bill, like what did he just like mumble there? You're like,
yeah, he was my absolute favorite.
Yeah, another one, like of comedy royalty, if we'll say, Joe Flaherty from SCTV.
SCTV, yep. And he was the first, like I said, I was watching this and we just did King of Queens not too long ago. And he was the first one. I was like, oh, he was the priest from King of Queens. We talked about how they had two. He was one of them. The other guy was the one that played Salem on Sabrina the Teenage Witch. And then, Neil's dad, when he showed up, was Doug's boss on King of Queens.
Right.
Now, the wife, the mom.
Yes. What was her name? Becky Ann Baker.
When I was watching this, I don't know. She's so grounded and such just an actress in a drama
Yeah.
She didn't try to be funny once, and
No.
I couldn't decide if I really liked that or I hated it.
Yeah, you know what? It's like she was busy being a mom, like
Yeah.
really, like that grounded being a mom, and sometimes she was in that like, okay, am I overdoing it, or do I need to pull back some, like that part of parenthood where it's like, oh, okay, do I try to be more of a friend of the kid, or
I didn't hate her, but when everyone else is kind of funny, and then she was just so not trying at all to be funny, she felt a little out of place to me, to be honest. But
like, I love though, like sometimes at like I think it was the first episode, Joe Flaherty as Harold Weir, like the dad. It's like when he's talking about different people, it's like, oh, and you know what happened to him? He's dead. Yeah, it's like he had all these different stories. It's like, oh, and you know where he is now? He's dead.
it was the diary episode, I think. She has a weird moment where she gets upset.
Yeah.
And she runs to the bedroom and jumps on the bed, like with her feet in the air and her face in the pillow, crying like a fucking child. And I just kept going, what are you? Who are you in this fucking world? Like,
but you know what? I get what you're saying, but at the same point, the dynamic between her and her husband there, I think they made a good coupling.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I didn't hate her as much, but it was just a strange choice to me. And I think the point is for them to be so fucking vanilla and boring.
Yeah.
That's what she's trying to escape. The main character, Lindsay or whatever, is trying to.
Yes.
She doesn't want to be, and I think even in that episode, she says, like, I don't want to be like them. And she writes in her diary how boring they are.
Yep.
That's I think that was like episode 9 or something, the diary one. So it's like you already kind of got to know them by that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, real fucking a boring American nuclear family is kind of, and then you're trying to escape the monotony of it.
Right.
Oh, and she sees her opportunity with the stoners. Maybe I'll be one of the cool kids, you know?
Right.
And have we mentioned this takes place in 1980 yet?
No, we haven't mentioned the time period. And it was one of the things that I also enjoyed because basically by 84, that's when I was in high school. So this is definitely along the lines of my timeline.
You were a freshman while they were a senior.
Exactly.
You know?
So, and I have to say, they got the time period great without pushing it. Because, sometimes you're on a show and it's like, oh, we have to show that it's this year. And, like, I didn't get that from that 70s show. Like, whoa, they really had to push it. It's just, it like just came naturally. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, this is the time period. But I think this one followed that very well too. It's like it wasn't trying to force it down our throats. It's like, oh yeah, guess what? It just like we're in the 1980s now.
This is where I found my mistake though, as a horror fan. You ready for this?
Oh, okay.
So I think it was episode 2. Siegel keeps talking about John Bonham dying.
Yes.
So that's when I looked up. I was like, oh, when did he die? It's 1980, September of 1980. The next episode is the Halloween episode. And Lindsay says, we should go see the new Friday. There's a new Friday the 13th movie out.
13th film. Yeah.
The first movie came out in 1980. How could there be a new Friday the 13th film in October of 1980? Because John Bonham died in September.
Right.
So, gotcha, bitch. Oh.
Do not mess with the
horror
master.
Horror fan, bro. Because I was like, wait, if he died in September, the Halloween's going to be in October, and it's the next episode, so it's got to be the same year.
Exactly. and I loved in that I was saying before the Joe Flaherty in the Halloween episode, the wife makes him dress up. It's like, oh, here, put on your costume, and it's a Dracula cape, and he takes a look at it, and it's like, and And it's because back in SCTV, he played Count Floyd, that was the second job of the news anchor who was on that network of SCTV that, like, they forced him to be the horror host, Count Floyd. And watching movies he's never seen before, so he had no way to, like, introduce things.
Break this down.
And it's like, break this down, and some of them turned out not to be horror movies. But they all, for some odd reason, usually were 3D movies.
Who else we got left? Busy Phillips.
Oh, Busy Phillips as Kim Kelly.
Honestly, the only thing I ever knew her from was another sitcom that she did with Courtney Cox, that Cougar Town.
Oh, right.
She was a regular on that with, what was it, his name? Ian Gomez, the guy from Norm Show that we covered.
Oh, right. One thing I will also say about this show that gave it its also, like the time period in that, this show has an incredible soundtrack.
Yeah, and actually on Wikipedia, it looked like a lot of the songs were actually more 70s. So I think the music actually stayed prior to 80.
It was like 70s and just 80. So you don't get more of the music that for that 80 show, you don't get those vibes. You get, when it turned from the 70s into 1980, and it's like, okay, so you're still dealing with some of the late 70s music and what just came out. So, like you had a lot of things, Van Halen, Rush, you had... and
the theme song.
Oh, yeah, Joan Jett and Blackhearts. Bad Reputation.
Is this the first one we had that was a real song that wasn't just made for the... the Norm Show song was a song, but we didn't know it. It wasn't like a big hit, I don't think.
No, it wasn't a big hit, but it's something that Norm liked, like you had said. Mm-hmm. That, like he enjoyed that, so they got that to be the themes. Well, wasn't it... That was the theme song later, right? Because I think when it first started, it was different, and then... Because, like, remember also how they changed up the
They
intro.
had the same song, but they changed the opening, I think.
Okay, it was just the opening itself changed.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
This might be the first one that's an actual, like, big hit song, right?
Yeah, and I don't think we've done any others. Like,
well, maybe Friends with the Rembrandts. That song may have existed before, but I don't know if it was a hit before.
I don't know if it existed before, if it was just, like... Yeah, it was just, like, it hadn't really hit, and then,
I guess if you want to technically count the Everybody Loves Raymond theme where it's that one.
Oh, God. Ode to Joy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm looking at the others on the list here, though, and I think all the rest are...
And Odd Couple came from the Broadway show, but...
And just the Different Strokes theme, actually, I heard on an episode of this.
Oh, yes.
I think was it the coach when he prank calls the coach?
Yep.
And you can hear the Different Strokes theme song in the background.
Yeah, and actually, Different Strokes. Bill was also talking about Welcome Back, Kotter.
They referenced Three's Company in an episode. I remember that.
Oh, yeah. They referenced Three's Company.
And they're watching Charlie's Angels in an episode.
Correct. So, again, this is a lot of the shit I grew up with that they're watching and like listening to.
Who was the one? Was he the teacher with the hippie looking teacher? He looked so fucking familiar, and I couldn't figure out what I knew him from.
You're talking about the guidance counselor.
He's the guy. Okay, yeah, him. I was like, why the fuck do I know this guy?
Mr. Rosso. That's Dave Gruber Allen.
Okay. He looks so fucking familiar, and I was like, why do I know you? And I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, well, he's been all around. He was on Mr. Show with Bob and David. He and David Keckner, they had a show called The Naked Trucker and T-Bones.
That actually does sound familiar.
Yes, on Comedy
Central.
Central.
Yes, I do remember that.
Yep. He was
he was on an episode of Malcolm in the Middle. I think he was one of his teachers. Yes.
Teacher.
Okay.
Yep.
I remember that. Yeah, he was one of those guys. I'm like, I know you, but it's cool to see him on something as a regular.
Mm-hmm. And I really enjoy the scenes with him.
Yeah.
And always trying to convince Leslie. It's like, oh, okay, get away from the burnouts, come back and be a mathlete.
Is it Leslie or Lindsay? I feel like I kept saying
Lindsay.
Okay. I was
Leslie,
like, shit,
yeah.
Are you wrong or am I wrong?
No, Lindsay. Yeah, come back and be a mathlete again. Because before she started hanging out with the burnouts, again, she was a geek. She was a mathlete, like the best on the team. And like, I guess like she was like kind of like almost the straight A student. She was like a very smart kid.
The thing that the characters in this are all really well rounded, and I like that even like the bullies for the geeks are
Yes.
like they all have kind of a moment where they're human beings. They're not complete piece. They're not what I call Stephen King bullies, where they're just the most horrible rancid human beings.
Yes,
they're bullies and they're
you
mean.
You can only hate them and that's it.
But they do have like redeemable moments and qualities, and there's scenes where you see that they're real people, which is interesting in a show like this.
Right. Some of the other fun people I liked that showed up. You had Biff as the coach, gym teacher.
I wrote down Coach Biff.
Yeah, Coach Biff. Yeah, Coach Fredericks was Tom Wilson, who played in the Back to the Future movies.
Well, again, it was great to see him on this because I really only know him from Back to the Future. So it's clear that these people were fans. I mean,
yep,
of a lot of these people, I'm sure.
I liked. Now I know we've brought up, but you've never really watched Mystery Science Theater, right?
A handful of episodes is all. Like
okay.
Handful of movies.
Well, you had the creator of Mystery Science Theater, Joel Hodgson, who was the clothing store manager at slash DJ. The guy that sold Sam the disco jumpsuit.
Oh yeah, I did see that one. Yeah.
So
he was the DJ in the bowling alley too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Also, Trace Ballou, who was also from Mystery Science Theater, was one of the teachers on the show. I was like, wait a second, hold on, you got that? And one of the people that was one of the writers was J. Elvis Weinstein, who was also one of the people from Mystery Science Theater. So you actually had a lot of callbacks to them. Okay, so far, like, how many episodes have you watched so far?
I think I got 7 in, something like that. Which
Okay.
they are hour-long episodes. I was watching on Pluto TV. Is that where you watched as well?
No, I actually watched on Hulu.
It's on Hulu? It didn't show up on Hulu. When I Googled it didn't show me Hulu, but...
Yeah, it is on Hulu. That's where I've been
I
watching
could have watched it on there without commercials, probably.
it's... Oh, you have the commercial-free Hulu?
Yeah, I was watching it on fucking Pluto TV.
Shit.
With the commercials, they were still an hour long each, but...
Yeah, basically. Because like the episodes were like 45, 47 minutes.
This is the thing. I was like... I love, as a sitcom, I love 30 minutes in and out. The pleasure of this show, though, is kind of in the awkward, meandering moments. Mm-hmm. Like, there's so many awkward exchanges where it's just people kind of looking at each other in a, what, you know? And
well, especially when you take into account like characters like the geek group.
Yeah.
It's like they have, so much trouble interacting with other people, like it's particularly girls. So it's like, those awkward exchanges like Sam and Cindy that, he's got such a crush on.
Well, and it's a sitcom is snap, 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 joke, 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 joke. And this one, it's not really jokes. They're, like you said, there's funny things in it. Funny things are said.
Yep.
But they're not jokes. And
it's not the typical.
Like I said, they're not afraid to end a scene on just a random ass line. And that makes it more grounded. So in my head, I was trying to debate, would I like it better if it was a half hour and snappier, or is all of the the essence of the show in those slow meandering moments. And I honestly couldn't decide.
I know what you were saying, because I was wondering if it would have been a much different show, if it would have worked more, like you said, sitcom-y, if it had that shorter runtime.
Well, for me,
I don't know if I would have liked it as much.
Yeah, well, and it's like sometimes, like the episode where she gets stoned, where Lindsay gets stoned for the first time, or whatever. There's so much good in that episode. Like, there's so many great scenes, but there are a few where you could cut this and it would be the same. It would still be as good, if that makes sense.
Now, I know what you're saying. Yeah, there's definitely. I think on a lot of works, you could always go back and say, oh, well, yeah, if I was the editor or whatever, I probably would have just taken this out or just changed this little bit. But I think what they gave us was still a lot of the meat. They gave us what was necessary for the characters, for them to grow, to to be who they are, and for us to get everything that's going on, and like you said, the growing up and awkwardness, especially at the high school.
For me,
years.
The thing I love most about sitcoms though is like the in and out. Like, you turn it on for a 25-minute episode without commercial, or 20 minutes, and you laugh, and it's over. Boom, 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 in, out. I don't know if I would revisit this as much, even though it's a very good show. There's not the rhythm to it. There's not the sitcom rhythm, which is good and bad for me, personally.
Right. And again, me not have watched this show prior to this.
You had neither? Okay.
I had never watched the show before. It's just, I know it always showed up on a lot of lists.
A lot of great, like hidden gems and stuff.
And I put in like, one season sitcoms, and I was doing lots of searches like this, and this came up a lot of times because it's a comedy drama. But
yeah, I don't think I would consider this a sitcom. Not that I'm saying never again are we going to do something like this. I like going out and branching out a little bit into something like this. I think it's helpful in the formula and realizing what makes a sitcom. And there are elements of a sitcom here.
Right.
But it is a little more dramatic. I don't think they never really do anything heavy though, right? Not in the ones I saw.
No, nothing in that sense, like, oh, so-and-so died. I think one of the heaviest things is actually when when the bully puts peanuts on his sandwich.
And that was a great episode.
That was a great episode.
Yeah.
And
he's allergic to peanuts
also
and puts him in the hospital.
Yeah. And this was an episode also that showed the bully.
Yeah.
Actually, okay, he's not just, like this hateful, spiteful. No, it's like, no, he's human too.
And he reacts like a dumbass teenager would. Like, he's sorry, but he doesn't want to show his emotion. That bully comes in and he's Bill's still kind of like out unconscious, and he's doing this great speech about like, please don't die, I didn't mean it, I always thought you guys were cool, but you never let me hang out with you. And he has like a
it's
moment.
Like you guys were firing off rockets and that I wanted to go, and you had said no. So that's what stemmed like the whole the bully aspect. It's like, oh, from that moment forward, you're like, he was their enemy, And
then when Bill wakes up and the bully comes in, he don't want to say it to his face, but Bill's like, I heard you, and he's like, no, I didn't say that. He's like, I heard you, and he, and he's like, hey, if you want to come to the sci-fi convention, come to Sam's house Saturday or whatever. And the kid shows up on his bike, and he's kind of watching from the bushes, and he sees how fucking nerdy they are in their costumes, and he just goes, I can't do it. I just can't do it. And he rides away. And you're like, that's so real though. Like, they made him a real person, which is I absolutely love about this show. Yeah,
like you said, like the main difference between him and like a bully, and particularly it seems like movies, because movies don't always have the time where it's like, oh, okay, you can do over multiple episodes, like build on the character. So in the movies, a lot of times, the bully is this hateful,
I always call them the Stephen King bullies, because Stephen King, that motherfucker's got the most ruthless, fucking ridiculous bullies in his movies.
Yep.
Stephen King must have got his ass whooped a lot because
I'm guessing, but
he's got bullies that will literally.
Who's laughing now? I guess.
Yeah, he's got bullies that will just whip out a switchblade and stab you in class. Like, that's not a fucking bully. That's a fucking murderer, dude. What are you talking about?
That's a sociopath, like looking to off people.
Yeah, and all of his bullies are like that. Crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I really like the humanity in this show. I would not call it a sitcom, though.
No, I agree. As I said, yeah, don't fault me because I was just going by the internet and their classification. So it's like, oh, okay, so this was a one season.
I wonder what the official definition of a sitcom is. Is it, you think it's like a 30-minute 3-act kind of thing? Is that what they're gonna tell me?
It may like fall under that. Yeah, but what is, you know, like what is the dictionary the definition of sitcom?
What defines a sitcom? A television series that involves a continuing cast of characters in a succession of comedic circumstances. That's all I put on Google.
Okay. Yeah, so in that light, you could consider this a sitcom, but again, with what we've watched and the typical, not to say formulatic sitcom, this definitely doesn't follow the rules. It definitely doesn't follow the rule, and it's not the outright jokes being spewed like left and right. This is more, it's the situations that are the things that you can laugh at, but also show the humanity and can be more dramatic, you know, at the same time.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed this, though. And, I mean, obviously there's a lot of shows out there that are going to be kind of in this vein that I'm sure we'll cover.
Right. Well, I'll tell you one, like, I think you said you've never watched, but you do have the full season, full series, MASH.
Oh, yeah.
Even though it's not an hour-long show, it's a show that actually started more in the sitcom vein and progressed more into a comedy drama.
But was based on a dramatic movie, right?
Yeah, well, again, the movie kind of was not necessarily drama, not necessarily comedy.
Okay. I haven't seen the movie, but I've had people tell me that it's more dramatic, but I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, but with a lot of...
I think the movie's actually in that box set, too, if I remember right.
Oh, nice. Yeah, by the way, I picked up a box set of MASH and Laverne and Shirley. But yeah, when it comes to like this show overall, like, did you enjoy watching Freaks and Geeks?
I did, and I probably will finish it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
we're definitely gonna.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish. I think I'm gonna watch the rest of them. I think I watched 7 of them, and there was very few times that I wasn't entertained. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I really like most of the characters. Like, it was weird because the ones that I feel like I know the best are the ones that I didn't necessarily love the most in the show. Like, I thought Seth Rogen would win me over a lot in the show.
Yeah. But like I said, it wasn't until later in the show that they gave him more to do. But yeah, I would definitely say that this was one of my favorite watches of just like anything I've watched recently. And we've watched 13 of them so far, and like you said, we're definitely going to finish it up.
You watched the first 13 in a row?
Yeah.
Okay. I skipped around a little bit just so I could make sure I could cover a little bit of each, but yeah, it is episodic still, which I think is also probably a qualifier for a sitcom.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's not really an overlying story, like a through story. It is, you can watch a single episode and get what you need for a complete,
but
you know.
There are definitely callbacks, you know, like in some of the other episodes. One of the things that also suffered, why it suffered, apparently NBC also showed it somewhat out of sequence.
Oh, one of those. Yeah.
Yep. That's usually Kiss of Death.
I love that it takes place in Detroit. I think on one episode we did talk about how a lot of the Michigan shows I don't like. So it's nice there's a Michigan show that I do like.
What? Name some Michigan sitcoms.
8 Simple Rules.
right?
Home
Yeah, that
Improvement.
was no. Which one?
Home Improvement.
Okay, you don't like Home Improvement.
I have a love-hate relationship with Home Improvement.
Okay,
For the most part, I thought it was pretty brain dead, but
got
as
it.
a kid, I fucking hated it.
Wow.
Maybe
see,
if I watch it again, I'll have a more of appreciation for it, but
And the strange thing is, when I was younger and watched it, I enjoyed it, and I'm wondering, looking back, will I still enjoy it?
there was Martin, Michigan? Was he in Detroit? Martin might have been in Detroit.
I think he might have been.
That'd be a good one. Wasn't there another one we watched that was in Detroit or something?
Now that you're saying Martin was Partners in Detroit.
I think that was Chicago.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're right. Chicago.
Because I think they showed the fountain from Married with Children.
Okay. Yeah. Close, but no cigar.
But yeah, we'll get to some more Michigan shows and some more Jersey shows, I'm sure. With the Franco drama, there was an accusation on the set toward him.
Okay, that part I didn't hear.
Busy Phillips accused him of assault, not sexual assault, but actual assault.
Oh, wow.
I think she said that she had to hit him in a scene, like slap him.
Yeah.
And when they yelled cut, he fucking freaked out on her and pushed her down and grabbed her. And
oh, jeez. Okay, no, I did not hear about that one.
I think she said that after a lot of the stuff came out about him, but yeah.
Yeah, apparently also this show got away with some things because NBC wasn't planning on renewing it too. So it's like, oh, okay, you want to say this? Sure, go ahead, say this.
Well, they didn't air them anyway, probably.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, that those episodes.
Say whatever you want. We're not
going
gonna fucking air them. I know this DVD set did come out pretty early in my TV collecting.
Yeah, and I think this one is not available anymore on DVD and Blu-ray.
Really?
Shout Factory re-put it out with all the music, and that's what they were looking for, so that you didn't have the okay, fill it with something else or like lose the musical cue, so you lose some other element.
It was weird. I don't know what it was, but I remember when this was like out. There was the other show that was like Queer as Folk, and I feel like I like confused those two shows a lot.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know why.
I've heard of, but I've never seen that.
Because I've never
either.
seen either one of them, but I feel like for some reason I just confused the two all the time when I was younger. So like I think I kind of thought this show was about a bunch of gay kids, and I just didn't know what it was about. I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely give this show 2 thumbs up, but here's the question.
Yeah, this is hard. I don't know where to put it.
That's the question. Where do you put this? Because
in a list of sitcoms, it's hard to place something that's not
a dramedy,
a sitcom.
And that's the thing I'm struggling with, because as a show, I think it's better than some of these sitcoms, but as a sitcom, I don't know if it ranks as high.
I think it's unfair to compare it to some of these, honestly.
Yeah, I think really this is going to be its own list because, as you said, there's going to be other ones we touch on that are more dramedy than pure sitcom.
I think I'm going to go ahead and put this. This is going to be at number 20 for me.
Wow.
And it's just because of the competition.
Yeah.
Right above it would be Kids in the Hall, Death Comes to Town for me. And right below it would be Different Strokes, which are both shows I liked. But now we're at the point where even good shows are getting pushed into the 20s.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. If we had to put it in the list of sitcoms, this is really hard. I almost want to say it deserves to be a little more middle in my list because...
Well, we're at 30, so it's in the top 2/3 there for me, but... This is our 30th show, by the way. Our 30th, well, not episode, but 30th show we've talked about.
Yes. Yes. Happy show anniversary.
Yay!
I actually would put this. You know what? Okay, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. This may be controversial. I'd put it right ahead of on my list that '70s show, but below King of Queens. It would be number 13.
13. Wow.
Yeah.
What are some of the ones below it then?
The Oblongs, Andy Griffith, Different Strokes. But yeah, it actually it jumps 2 ahead of what we just watched, which is strange, and it's one of those. Is it or is it not?
Yeah, it's definitely a good show, but I can't with a healthy heart put it above Andy Griffith or Living Single or even the Norm Show at this point.
I don't know. So how do I take that? Do you have a healthy heart?
Yes, and I found out the hard way. Do you see them fucking bruises on my arm?
Oh boy!
Look at this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they couldn't find the vein.
IVs and blood draws, huh?
Jesus Christ! They couldn't even find the fucking vein. They're in there digging around.
They're just attaching a tube to a dart and just like basically throwing it at your arm after a while.
In case anybody sees this, they just think I'm a fucking heroin addict. Be like Artie Lang. I'm the first guy to get fat on heroin.
Oh, gotta love Artie.
I'm the only fucking man who got fat on heroin. It might be true.
Now, I know we haven't discussed it, but did we have what's coming next? I know one we had discussed, but
I have an idea. If you have a day free next week,
possibly.
What if we did a nice little ranking of these 30 theme songs?
Ooh. That would be interesting.
Would you like that? As like maybe a little bonus?
Yeah, a nice little bonus episode.
We now have 30 shows that we've talked about, and they all got theme songs that we have briefly discussed, but
yeah,
I think it might be kind of fun to go through these and decide which songs we like.
Yeah, I think actually we could do theme songs, and as a side note to it, could also just say which shows had the best overall music. Just period. Because, like, not just the theme song, but there are also other musical cues sometimes you hear, within the shows, and I think some shows just do it a lot better.
You know what, though? A lot of the best music cues are the ones you don't notice.
Yeah.
The ones that just blend right into the show and you don't even think about. So you might overlook something that's great and you go, oh, fuck.
True, but also it's the ones that sometimes you find yourself humming and asking yourself, what am I humming? And you realize it's one of these like other musical cues that you always hear in a particular show. Like I'll give you an example. Like what's it? The Odd Couple always has this thing. It's like it's like okay, it's a very catchy little quick thing that they throw in there. It sounded
like I used to have the Planet Hollywood board game, and you hit the timer. That's exactly what it sounded like.
Maybe it was, or actually, even the Addams Family had some great musical cues too.
Mm-hmm.
And not just the theme song, which we also discussed last time. But yeah, okay, I think we can do that.
I'm on spring break. I got the next 9 days off.
Oh, damn you. Damn you to hell.
I'm on my staycation.
Nice. Me, I'm getting ready. Tomorrow's my wife's birthday, so happy birthday, baby.
Happy birthday.
So, I guess, if people want to find us, where can they find us, Jay?
You can find us on YouTube. Just search for Sitcom My Face. You can email us, sitcommyface@gmail.com. We're on facebook.com/sitcommyface. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/bidwellfog. He is at twitch.tv/netnick191. Is that it? That's good enough, I think.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. And hopefully in the near future, you'll also see a little different setup on our like on our YouTubes, on our videos.
Yeah, I think we're gonna do some real sexual experimenting.
Woohoo! With manatees, right?
With manatees. Conan will be there. I'll make sure of it.
Brought to you by NBC.
Oh,
I guess until next time, though.
I want to give a quick movie recommendation. If you want to see the worst movie I've ever seen in my entire life, you can go watch the 4th Jeepers Creepers film on Hulu.
Oh, that bad, huh?
It's called Jeepers Creepers Reborn. Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2 are fun. Jeepers Creepers 3 was horrible. And I was like, well, it won't get any worse than that.
They proved you wrong, huh?
They shot the whole fucking movie on a green screen, Nick. And boy, can you tell. Apparently it was shot during COVID. So even the exteriors are fucking green screen. Oh, boy. I never seen lens flare at night. Holy fuck.
Wow, J.J. Abrams still hasn't gotten that one.
Every fucking movie I've ever hated in my life just doubled its score in my head after seeing this pile of shit. So even if you're not a horror fan and you just want to laugh at some of the worst filmmaking ever, Jeepers Creepers Reborn. It was like when I saw Bride of Chucky and I remember going, well, that was dog shit. And then I saw Seed of Chucky and I was like, you know what? Bride of Chucky wasn't so bad.
In retrospect.
Every movie is fucking Schindler's List compared to Jeepers Creepers Reborn.
Wow, that's some big words there.
After you watch this movie, you'll be begging us to sitcom your face.
Oh my God.
But maybe next episode I'll have a review too. If it depends on when we record. But I'm going to see Scream 6 next week, so hopefully it's better than Scream 5, and they don't pull a Scream Reborn on me.
Keep screaming. Oh no, it's like Scream 6, screaming with the creep.
Oh
no!
No!
On that note, what do you think the good folks out there should do for us?
Sitcom my face, baby.
Bye-bye.